The UK is famous for its haunted places, filled with ghost stories, legends, and strange happenings. Among these eerie locations are several abandoned towns and villages where time has stood still. These places are not only deserted, but also believed to be deeply haunted. From lost medieval villages to towns drowned by water or claimed by war, many of them hold dark and tragic pasts. Visitors often report ghost sightings, strange noises, and a heavy atmosphere. These ghost towns remain silent witnesses to history, mystery, and the unexplained, making them some of the most haunted places in the UK. Now we will visit the most abandoned ghost towns in the UK. Number 1. Tyneham, Dorset. Hidden deep in the Dorset countryside lies Tyneham, a place frozen in time, and often called the most haunted ghost village in the UK. Once a peaceful farming and fishing community near Lulworth Cove, Tyneham was suddenly abandoned during World War II in December 1943. The British military took over the village to use it for training, promising to return it after the war. But that never happened. The villagers left with heavy hearts, leaving a note on the church door. Please treat the church and houses with care. We have given up our homes where many of us have lived for generations. Since then, Tyneham has stood still, untouched by modern life. Crumbling stone houses, an empty schoolroom with children's names still on coat hooks, and the lonely church of St. Mary's remain as eerie reminders of what once was. Many believe the village is not just abandoned, but cursed. Visitors often report strange, unexplained phenomena. Some say they hear ghostly footsteps echoing through the silent lanes. In the schoolhouse, people claim to hear the laughter and whispers of long-gone children. Others feel sudden chills or the sense of being watched, even when alone. One of the most chilling tales is of a woman in old-fashioned clothes seen wandering near the churchyard. Believed to be the spirit of a villager who never wanted to leave, she disappears when approached. There are also stories of phantom soldiers moving through the woods and fields, perhaps shadows of military training gone terribly wrong. Paranormal investigators who have visited Tyneham speak of strange energy readings and disembodied voices caught on recordings. Some even say they've seen lights flicker in empty buildings and doors slam without wind. Tyneham is only open to the public on certain days because it still lies within a military training zone, adding to its mystery. Its isolation, tragic history, and ghostly reputation draw curious visitors from all over the country. Once a place of life, now a place of silence, Tyneham is more than a forgotten village. It is a place where the past clings to every wall, and the dead seem unwilling to leave. If you visit, be prepared, not just for quiet ruins, but for the feeling that someone or something is still there, watching. Number 2. Imber, Wiltshire. Deep in the Salisbury Plain lies Imber, one of the most mysterious and chilling ghost towns in the UK. Once a small farming village with roots dating back to the Saxon era, Imber's peaceful life came to a sudden end during World War II. In 1943, the British Army ordered all residents to leave their homes within days so the area could be used for military training. Like Tyneham, the villagers left reluctantly, believing they would return after the war. But they never did. To this day, Imber remains under military control and is only open to the public a few days each year. What makes Imber truly unsettling isn't just its empty streets or crumbling homes. It's the heavy, haunted atmosphere that lingers in the air. Many believe the souls of the villagers never truly left, and visitors report a range of terrifying paranormal encounters. One of the eeriest spots is St. Giles Church, the only well-preserved building in the village. Many have seen ghostly figures near the altar or heard phantom footsteps on the stone floors. Some even report hearing the soft sound of an organ playing, even though there's no electricity or instrument inside. Outside the church, people have claimed to see shadowy soldiers marching through the mist, possibly spirits of long-dead soldiers who trained on these grounds. Others speak of hearing gunshots or distant cries, though no exercises are taking place. The most chilling legend involves a woman in black seen walking between the buildings at dusk. Locals believe she was a villager who died of heartbreak after being forced to leave her home. Witnesses say she moves slowly, always looking toward the church, and vanishes if you try to follow her. Another unsettling tale tells of a phantom child seen sitting quietly on a windowsill of one of the ruined houses. When approached, the child disappears, leaving only a cold spot behind. Despite being mostly silent and lifeless, Imber is full of presence, an eerie reminder of lives interrupted and promises broken. Its isolation on the military plane, combined with its tragic history and ghostly legends, make it one of the most haunted abandoned places in the UK. Number 3. Wharram, Percy, North Yorkshire. Nestled in the rolling hills of the Yorkshire wolds lies Wharram, Percy, one of the most famous and haunted deserted villages in England. Once a thriving medieval settlement, Wharram, Percy was slowly abandoned between the 14th and 16th centuries, leaving behind nothing but crumbling stone foundations, the eerie ruins of a church, and chilling whispers of the past. The village's fall began with the Black Death, which swept through in the mid-1300s, wiping out much of the population. Later, wealthy landowners forced out the remaining families to make way for sheep farming. Homes were destroyed, families scattered, and by the early 1500s, Wharram, Percy was left to decay. But while its people may have been driven out, their spirits are said to have never truly left. The ruins of St. Martin's Church, with its skeletal tower and ancient graveyard, sit at the heart of the village, and many believe this is where the hauntings are strongest. Visitors have reported hearing mournful chanting, phantom bells, and even disembodied voices calling out from the hillside. Some claim to have seen ghostly monks wandering the grounds at dusk, their faces hidden beneath dark hoods. One of the most disturbing legends is that of the Bone Pit, a site uncovered by archaeologists where the remains of bodies were found deliberately mutilated after death. Some believe this was done to prevent the dead from rising again. Was it a sign of fear? A belief in the supernatural? Or evidence that something darker once stalked this village? Others have seen a woman in white, thought to be the ghost of a villager who died during childbirth, endlessly searching for her lost baby. Her cries echo through the valley on windless nights, chilling all who hear them. Even during daylight, Wharram, Percy feels unnaturally quiet. Birds rarely sing, and the air often feels heavy, as if something unseen still lingers. Paranormal investigators have reported cold spots, strange EMF spikes, and shadows that move against the light. Today, Wharram, Percy is managed by English Heritage and is open to the public, but many who visit leave with more than just photographs. Some say they bring a piece of the village's sorrow and its spirits home with them. Number 4. Hallsands, Devon. Clinging to the cliffs of South Devon once stood the thriving fishing village of Hallsands, a proud, close-knit community of stone cottages, winding lanes, and sea-hardened families. But today, only a handful of broken walls and ruins remain, battered by the winds and waves. What happened here wasn't just a natural disaster, it was a human-made tragedy, followed by years of ghostly sightings and eerie tales that have turned Hallsands into one of the most haunted and abandoned villages in the UK. In the late 19th century, a decision was made to dredge shingle from the beach below Hallsands to help expand the Royal Navy dockyard in Plymouth. This removed the village's natural sea defenses. Despite villagers' protests, the dredging continued. Then came the Great Storm of January 1917, a violent coastal surge that swept in from the English Channel and destroyed nearly the entire village overnight. Miraculously, no one died that night, but their homes, possessions, and entire way of life were swallowed by the sea. Hallsands was never rebuilt. Its people were scattered, their hearts broken, their homes left to crumble into the waves. But something, or someone, seems to have stayed behind. Locals and visitors speak of ghostly figures wandering the cliff paths, especially during storms. A mysterious woman in black is often seen gazing out to sea where the village once stood, believed to be the spirit of a widow who lost everything in the disaster. Her cries are said to echo through the rocks during full moons. Fishermen passing nearby report strange lights flickering among the ruins at night, and some claim to hear the sound of children playing, even though no one has lived there for decades. Others have heard church bells ringing underwater or the creak of boats that no longer exist. Paranormal investigators have experienced cold spots, electromagnetic disturbances, and even captured unexplained voices on recorders. Some locals believe that the souls of those who built their lives here still linger, angry at being robbed of their home by both man and sea. Now a crumbling skeleton of its former self, Hallsands is a ghost village in every sense, haunted by memories, sorrow, and spirits that refuse to be forgotten. Number 6. Kilbride, Isle of Skye. Tucked away on the rugged and windswept Isle of Skye, the abandoned village of Kilbride lies hidden among the moors and mists, a forgotten Highland settlement steeped in mystery, sorrow, and chilling supernatural tales. Once a small but thriving crofting community, Kilbride was emptied during the brutal Highland clearances of the 18th and 19th centuries, when landlords forced families from their ancestral homes to make way for sheep farming. What remains today are crumbling stone ruins and a heavy, eerie silence that hangs over the land like a curse. Tucked away on the rugged and windswept Isle of Skye, the abandoned village of Kilbride lies hidden among the moors and mists, a forgotten Highland settlement steeped in mystery, sorrow, and chilling supernatural tales. One of the most feared and mysterious legends of Kilbride is that of the Grey Lady of the Glen. She is often seen at twilight, drifting silently among the ruins in a tattered shawl. Locals believe she is the spirit of a woman who died of heartbreak after being separated from her children during the clearances. Her face, pale and full of sorrow, vanishes if approached. Near the ruins of the old chapel, people have heard Gaelic prayers and soft weeping, though the chapel has long since crumbled. Some claim to have seen glowing orbs of light dancing across the fields at night, believed to be the spirits of displaced villagers searching for home. There are even darker tales. Hikers report seeing figures in 18th century clothing standing motionless on the hilltops, only to vanish when looked at directly. Others have felt an invisible force pushing them away from certain areas, as if some unseen presence is guarding the village from intruders. Paranormal investigators who visited Kilbride speak of unexplained cold spots, malfunctioning equipment, and audio recordings filled with ghostly voices speaking in ancient Gaelic. Number 7. Binnend, Fife. High on the windswept hills above Burntisland, hidden by thick undergrowth and forgotten by most, lie the eerie ruins of Binnend, once a bustling Victorian mining town in Fife, Scotland. Today, it is nothing more than moss-covered stone walls and collapsed cottages, but the air here feels heavy with history, tragedy, and something unseen. Often described as one of Scotland's most haunted abandoned places, Binnend is a ghost town in both name and feeling. Built in the 1880s to house workers for the nearby shale oil industry, Binnend quickly grew into a self-contained community with homes, shops, and even a school. But when the oil works declined by the early 20th century, the town was abandoned almost overnight. Families vanished, leaving behind their lives, belongings, and, some believe, their souls. One of the most chilling tales is of a coal-black figure with glowing eyes, said to appear at twilight near the old school ruins. Locals call it the Watcher, a spirit believed to be a miner who died during a tunnel collapse. His restless presence seems to guard the village, warning off those who come too close. Another legend tells of the Lady of the Row, a spectral woman in white who paces between what were once terraced homes. She is said to have died of grief when her husband was killed in an explosion at the nearby works. Her ghost appears only during storms, her sobbing carried on the wind. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange EMF spikes, invisible touches, and disembodied voices calling out names from a century ago. Some claim their equipment stops working the moment they step into the ruins. Now swallowed by brambles and silence, Binnend remains frozen in time, a broken village haunted not just by spirits, but by the memory of lives lived, lost, and left behind. If you visit, be prepared. Binnend doesn't like to be disturbed. Number 8. Rattray, Aberdeenshire. Once a proud coastal settlement on the windswept shores of northeast Scotland, Rattray in Aberdeenshire is now little more than a forgotten name on old maps, a lost village buried beneath shifting sands, swallowed by time, sea, and legend. Once home to a thriving fishing community, and even its own castle, Rattray's tragic story is one of nature's fury and spiritual unrest. Today, what remains of this abandoned and haunted town lies beneath the dunes near Rattray Head, haunted by tales of drowned souls, spectral ships, and eerie cries that echo across the moors. In the Middle Ages, Rattray was a bustling coastal borough, protected by Rattray Castle and surrounded by fertile farmland and a busy harbor. But in 1720, a violent and unrelenting storm reshaped the coast forever. The sea surged inland, dunes collapsed, and in a matter of days, the village was buried under tons of sand and wreckage. The survivors fled, and the once prosperous town was left to die beneath the dunes, its ruins and secrets hidden to this day. But the village may not have been abandoned completely, not by the dead. Locals speak of ghostly figures walking along the beach at dusk, their footprints vanishing in the sand behind them. Some believe they are the spirits of villagers who drowned in the storm, forever searching for their lost homes. Others tell of a phantom ship, seen just off the coast on stormy nights, with tattered sails and no crew. It is said to vanish into thin air, just as quickly as it appears. The ghost of the White Fishwoman is the most famous legend. Dressed in sea-soaked rags, she is seen weeping by the shore or standing atop the dunes, calling out in Scots to children no one else can see. According to legend, she lost her entire family to the sea and now haunts the coast in eternal mourning. Even the nearby Rattray Head lighthouse, built later to warn ships of danger, is said to be cursed. Keepers have reported unseen hands knocking on doors, whispers in the night, and even being pushed by invisible forces while climbing the tower. Today, Rattray is silent, but many who visit swear the wind carries voices from the past, echoes of a buried village that refuses to be forgotten. Number 9. Auchindrain, Argyll. Hidden in the remote hills of Argyll, Scotland, the village of Auchindrain stands as one of the most haunted and abandoned towns in the UK. Once a thriving community, it now sits quietly, forgotten by time and overgrown with weeds, its stone cottages crumbling in the damp Scottish air. Auchindrain's story is a tale of poverty, hardship, and ghostly occurrences, leaving behind an unsettling atmosphere that visitors still feel today. Today, Auchindrain is a ghost village, and it's not just the physical ruins that make it eerie, it's the lingering spirits of those who lived and died there. Ghostly figures have been seen wandering the once thriving community, and there are many chilling stories told by those brave enough to visit. One of the most famous legends is that of the woman in white, seen walking along the path near the village. She is believed to be the spirit of a mother who lost her children during the Highland clearances, her heartbroken soul unable to move on. Witnesses claim she disappears into the mist or fades into the trees, as if she were never there. Some also hear soft crying carried by the wind coming from the old cottages, as though the echoes of lost children are forever trapped within the village. Another terrifying tale tells of a man in a tattered coat, often seen standing near the village's old chapel. He is said to be the ghost of a crofter who died in poverty, his spirit forever wandering the land that he once called home. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike have reported strange cold spots, the feeling of being watched, and the sound of footsteps in the silent streets. At night, the air is thick with the feeling that the dead of Auchindrain still linger, unable to escape the memories of their harsh, difficult lives. Auchindrain is a place where the past never truly fades, and the spirits of its lost villagers continue to walk, reminding us of a history of pain, survival, and haunting. Number 10. Slapton, Devon. Tucked away along the rugged coast of Devon, Slapton once stood as a quiet, charming village, its thatched cottages and peaceful streets a portrait of rural life. However, the village's peaceful existence was tragically uprooted during World War II, when it was chosen as the site for a military training ground for the D-Day invasion. In 1943, the entire village was forcibly evacuated, and the residents were never allowed to return. Today, Slapton lies abandoned, but it is not a place of peace. It is a place where history lingers, and ghosts of the past walk in the mist. Before its forced evacuation, Slapton had been a thriving community, its inhabitants living off farming and fishing along the Devon coastline. But in preparation for the invasion of Normandy, the British government decided to turn Slapton Sands into a training ground, using the landscape to simulate the beaches of France. The villagers were given little notice and had to leave behind everything, from their homes to their beloved belongings. What followed was a dark chapter in the village's history. The military exercises conducted there, known as Operation Tiger, turned disastrous. In April 1944, a mock D-Day landing went horribly wrong, leading to the deaths of 946 American soldiers when their landing crafts were ambushed by German torpedo boats. The tragedy was so devastating that it was kept secret for months, and its impact on Slapton is still felt today. The abandoned village has since become one of the most haunted places in the UK, and many who visit report chilling encounters. People often hear distant voices, whispers, and the soft sound of children playing, though there are no children to be seen. Ghostly figures of soldiers and civilians have been spotted along the old streets, and some claim to have seen shadowy soldiers marching along the sands, fading into the mist. The air is thick with an unsettling feeling, as if the souls of those lost to both war and displacement have never truly left. The abandoned village itself, now overgrown and in ruins, only adds to the ghostly atmosphere. Paranormal investigators who have visited Slapton report strange electromagnetic activity, cold spots, and the feeling of being watched. Many describe an eerie, almost suffocating silence that hangs in the air, broken only by the whisper of the wind through the trees and the distant sound of waves crashing on the beach. Slapton is not just a lost village. It is a place where the past and its ghosts continue to haunt the present. If you visit, don't be surprised if you feel the weight of its history or the chill of its lingering spirits.